Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gearblocks. I am continuing work on the Jeep-like SUV. I'll probably move the A-pillars back at some point and so on and blah blah blah. But I was playing around off camera and turned the vehicle into more like a truck type thing just because I felt like it. And then started putting an independent suspension on it, but decided it's broken and won't drop down for some reason. Either way, that's not part of this video. First thing I need to do is I'm going to swap out this axle with this one. It's the same thing, other than it doesn't have this top bit on it, and the differential is turned around because I realized with it in this orientation and the drivetrain, it's on backwards. It's to be turned the other way so it actually works properly. So I'm going to quickly remove this one. I'm not going to delete it. I'm just going to move it out of the way. Should be... Oh, something is still locked. That one. There we go. That should be just the axle. I can shift that off to the side. And then stick this one in. I can also get rid of these blocks here. And then I need to, I also changed up the steering a tiny bit. Wait, those. I just put a shock absorber on it. And then added the drag link to it. It's just kind of needed a little bit of changing, but not too much. So I'm just going to throw this one under it instead. These were also supposed to come off. I'll probably move the location of the upper link. Come on. And change the length of the upper links as well. Because pitch of this, when the suspension drops out, the output or input points down. So I am going to quickly change out these upper links, and I might make it just a 3-link in the front and back rather than a 4. But I'm not sure yet. I'll see how long these links are, whether or not they kind of get in the way or not. Let's duplicate all of that, and stick this back in place, because the lower links are perfectly fine. It's the upper ones that are causing a bit of an issue. I could shorten the lower links, but the longer the links, the better. Hopefully. I'll remove this one too while I'm at it. And then just duplicate this one. Flip this around. So, okay. So if I stick this on there, it's not going to clear chassis how I need it to. So I'm going to shorten this, move this over, and then lengthen this one by 1. And that should make it clear everything a little bit better. Still gonna bind here a tiny bit, but could be worse. It should still work. So I'll lock all these ones into place, put this one back in, actually attached, there we go. And I will move this one to there, this one, and then I have to shorten this like I did with the other one. Not shorten it, but adjust it. I could go like this, and it'll clear everything even better. So I'm actually going to do that. Unlock everything quick. Ooh, there we go. Alrighty. So that should clear better. And then the front, I'm going to do pretty much... No, I'm not doing the same thing. I'm changing it a little bit. Putting the one link in the middle, I think. I should do it the same, but the upper link is going to hit the body. So I think I'm going to try and tuck it in there or something, like I did on the truck when I was just kind of messing around with it. What is in the way? Oh, okay. These are not needed either. And neither is this one. And I'm probably also going to do different steering, as on the truck it skipped. Gears can actually skip teeth and stuff. Okay, now what's in the way? Something is still in the way. This should be working. So I'm going to take that off. Oh. Okay, it's this thing. There we go. Now it should go on? Question? Yes. Okay, there we go. Now, another slight issue is this piece kind of gets in the way of the steering box. So, how can I move that? I can probably just move it back a block. So, if I do just that, I'm going to grab sloped beam. I need to change it to metal, but that's no, 2. Oops, wrong buttons. I change it to just normal steel, I think. Yeah. And bring this up to here, like so. Oh, I need to move it forwards 1 block as well. To there. Then I can take out this one. And then this should just move over and be perfectly fine. Put this all into place. This might interfere with that a little bit, so I'm actually going to nudge this over and go like that. Oops, just to make sure it doesn't bind. And now I should be able to put on steering linkage and have the pitman arm. That's the arm that goes from the steering box to the drag link. Should be able to have that the same length as the arm on the knuckle, which is, what, 3, 4? with like 3 blocks. So I'm going to grab double rounded beam. 2, that's 3. Actually, if I take this and put it on there, go like this, and stick it up there, and that is a little bit too long. So yeah, I have to go like that, and then still kind of in the way, so I'm just going to shorten it to there. That way nothing is interfering with anything else. I can do that. And then this is how I was doing it before. I could just keep doing it like this. I'm going to get rid of this thing and extend. Oh, come on. Extend that. That should. Really? That should be the right length. Yes, okay. I'm just gonna do it like that. And then I was using a worm gear, but as I mentioned, that was slipping. So I'm going to lock all of this in place. Get rid of that because it's not needed anymore. Drop this down. And oh, wait, and figure out a different gearing. I'm gonna see if I can use like a crown gear or something. I should be able to. So if I actually put the spur gear back on, and then bring this up by 1, maybe 2. Might have to go up by 2, we'll see. Going to grab an axle. And a crown gear. I need a high one. Crown gear to high. I would rather use a worm gear just because it's a little bit stronger, and I believe that's how they work in real life. Excuse me. But, as I mentioned, it tends to skip and not work properly. That is locked. There we go. And then I could also. I'm trying to think of where to put the whatchamacallit, the servo. Oops. I also forgot to attach the center link. I wish we could make proper angled parts. I'm going to stick that in the chassis. And then I'm going to change to a socket and axle facing this way. Yes, it's gonna hit the body like this. And then if I triangulate it, or make it angled, it's gonna interfere with this a little bit. So, I think I'm just going to keep it a 4-link like I just did on the rear, which means I need to go like this. add mounting points on the front. I'll go through at some point and change everything to proper steel so I can print it, but I'm not overly worried at the moment. Lock those so I can just take that whole thing off and do it. I think a real Jeep is a 4-link anyways, not a 3-link. So this is a bit more accurate in the long run. Ball and axle, knock it down to 1, copy it, put it over. So. And then I'm going to pop this off real quick so I can hit. And then I will change the length so it fits better on top. Oopsies. Okay, stick that on there. And then I'm going to shorten this here. I will shorten that to there and lengthen that one. And that should work. And I'm going to quickly duplicate this. Lock this one in place. Oops. Nope. And then put a ball up there. So, and there's the upper link on that side. Oh, these are both facing the same way. On the rear axle, they're facing opposite directions. There we go. Lock that into position, and that should work much better than what my initial idea was going to. Excuse me. Oops, where'd the timer go? Oh, I forgot to start timing, so that's probably been about, what, 10 minutes? 18 minutes. Okay, I got another 10 minutes to go. Okay, so I shall lock all that into place, make sure it's good, okay. And then now I just need to put the... Ooh, actually, if I put a spur gear here, I should be able to put the steering servo right around there. I gotta bring it up a little bit, but that's okay. Make a little too long beam. Excuse me. Stick it there like so. Grab a pencil. Make it short. Stick it into the servo. Grab another spur gear. And there we go. That should work. A, D, when seated. And I forgot to turn it on. There we go. I do have to change how far it moves. Go down to 50 degrees. I'll worry about the trim at some other point. Oh, that's still too far. Let's go for like 45. As it slowly rolls away. Okay, there we go. That should be fine. Awesome. It now has steering. And the axles don't rotate weirdly under it. Okay, now I want to have the axles the same length as the arms. So I'm going to move this to, actually, yeah, it's not quite gonna work. Okay, if I move this to beside there, stop being weird, and go like this, grab another, or the inner, like that. That should be roughly the same length. I can just stick that on there and duplicate both pieces. I have to move the truck out of the way. Vehicle so I can actually get to this one. Stick this one on the back. Oh, I've got the wrong part in here still. Wrong axle shaft. I need to do this one. Shorten it down. There we go. Now this can go in. Now the drive shaft is the same length as the length, or lengths. Therefore, it shouldn't cause any weird binding. And put an outer, oops, I want where is it? This one. I want this one on this end with the beam going across. So, oops, there we go. And then lock it into. There's the rear drive shaft. I don't know if I want to put my 3-speed in it or not. It's kinda not necessary. I could make it a 2-speed, but that just makes it so much more complicated. And I would also like to have the differential moved over another block. But I don't know if that's exactly possible with how everything is set up at the moment. So I'm just going to do this as simply as I can for now, and I can change things from there, I guess. Okay, put in another beam. So, hey. And then I'm going to, for now, I don't know if I should use a clutch gear or a normal gear for this. Let's start with the clutch gear. It's just they don't put enough torque through for doing this. So it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. However, for now it should be fine. And then bring the rear shaft up all the way to the front. Like so. Make sure it can rotate. Excuse me. And lock it into place. should make sure everything is locked. Okay. And then use a normal spur gear on this part. And the drive from the motor will go directly to here. Actually, I could probably just put the motor directly down here at this point. Especially if I'm not putting a gearbox in it. Can I fit the large motor under here? Maybe if I remove this. But that's also going to get in the way of the drive shaft. Okay, that's just a little bit too big. I go with the medium one. I can just stick the medium motor right there, which will give it a very nice center of gravity. Put an axle on there. And then that looks like a 20 or 24 tooth spot. 24. Perfect. So now it goes directly to the rear axle, and then when this gear is engaged, this clutch, it'll be all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. I should test it. I should also turn everything on. And, ooh, is this still... No, it's just because I don't have it set. This still... No, because I moved it before the upper link was getting stuck on there. But that looks fine. Awesome. Okay, so we've got steering. And that's reverse. Okay, so the motor is backwards. Reverse and seated. Alright. Unfortunately, since it's a big gear going to a little one, it's going to have some torque issues. Oh yeah, major torque issues. Ooh. And the front wheels hit the arms, so I need to nudge this down a bit. Alright, it looks like they just barely clear now. Also looks like it turns more one way than the other, but I'm not sure. I'm not liking the lack of torque. And the suspension's way too stiff at the moment, but that can be changed easy. But there we go. Suspension is basically done, and it's doing okay for torque, I guess. Come on, go. See that as it just stops. Why is it not working now? Like, it's not working at all. Did I make a mistake here? Oh. Maybe it just doesn't have the torque to get over things at the moment. So I need to do some re-gearing, which is why having the gearbox in it is a really good idea. But the 3-speed gearbox that I made takes up the entire front end. Then it needs a bunch of like gearing and stuff to get it down there. So I'm going to... I don't know how I want to do this. Either way, I should probably move everything up a bit more. Move that out of the way. And then a beam across there. And then I'm going to make another beam go here, just to make it look a bit better. Make it look like everything's actually properly supported. And then I can somehow bring the drive line up to the front. See, I could also put the big gear on the bottom, and then move a couple things around, but then the big gear is sticking out the bottom, and I don't want that. Because it's already kind of low enough as it is. If I just use a bunch of little gears. I also don't like using the pulleys for the drive chain because they slip, I think. I use a few of the smaller gears. It's going to create a little bit more slop, and technically wouldn't be as strong, but it'll allow me to get everything up higher without sacrificing too much torque. Actually, this one can stay where it is. That can spin. So, and I think I'm going to actually go one higher. That one spin. Grab another beam. I should just use one solid beam coming up the middle here, and then separate these ones, but whatever. And then I can also use that as a body mount. If I could play around with the gears in here to get a bit of a gear reduction as well. I put an axle there. Can I stick a gear on top of it? I have room for that. Okay. I don't know. This is a bit wonky. I'll figure out the gearing at some point. I wish we could put proper angled stuff. Ooh. If I raise that up a little bit, that was supposed to delete. I can go this instead. Do what I did for the steering. Oops. Okay. I'll let this move over here. I hate when it does this. I'm also running out of time for this video, but I'm not recording Fallout 4 anymore, because it's kind of boring to record and nobody's watching it anyways. Okay, so if I grab a half rapid beam, put it there, I should be able to put on a crown gear, or whatever you want to call it. Crown high. Yeah, shouldn't, or it might bind with that one. I can always move this back if need be too. Yeah. I'm just a little worried about that binding, so what I'm gonna do, move this whole thing back to here, and then I'll just add another little spur gear. And then the gear ratio change isn't nearly as much also, doing it this way. But this part, ooh, actually, if I just put another high crown on top, that I can then grab a spur gear, stick it right there. Like so. And that will work. At least I'm pretty sure it'll work. Okay, so that gets drivetrain up to where I want it to be better. I shouldn't have locked that upper one yet. It's down. Okay, where's my motor? I can also now use the big motor. If it'll fit. Let's bring a cross member across there. Should be fine. I don't think that'll hit anything. And I'm going to grab the large motor. Being a pain in the butt. Alrighty. And then I can... Actually, I could just move it back a little bit more. Then I can do the same thing I did over there, or here. So bring a beam. So. Ooh, I need to drop it down a bit. Okay. I'm going to take a sloped beam. I'll end the video once I'm done the drivetrain. And go like this, I guess. And then I should be able to do the same thing I did there if I move the motor back a little bit. Okay, that... Ooh, I don't want to lock that yet. I'll lock that one though. That, stick it there. Okay. Can move this back down a bit more so I can see. And then can also bring a beam up here to hold things. Okay. I need to put idle gear on this part. Move this back by one. Over. So annoying. Go where I want you to. Here we go. And then I need to bring a beam up here to hold things. I can change the length of it in a moment. Another half-rounded beam. There. Just forgot to put the axle in the motor. That might need to go extended like that. And then put a little spur gear on this side of it. Then grab the high crown. Like so. Ooh, it's kind of clipping with the motor. I can probably bring the motor back by one and be fine. Just move back one. Come on. There we go. And then I need to extend this. So. Make sure that rotates, make sure that rotates. Okay. That should work. Forwards, backwards. And only when in. Back to turn it on like usual. And that gear is not in place for some reason. Okay, lock thing. Oops. I do want to bring this down really quick. There. And I'm not going to lock the body to that. Button. There we go. Ooh. Whoops. There we go. It's got lots of torque now. This thing really needs sway bars. I wonder if I can figure out some kind of disconnecting sway bar. I don't think it even needs to be in four-wheel drive to crawl over things. I'll put a status light on the dash at some point for the four-wheel drive. And then I will also put in the differential locks at some point as well. Probably the next episode I'll work on that. And then that should clear just under the hood. So yeah, there we go. I always forget about doing crown gears like that when I need to drop my drivetrain. But that is so convenient doing it like that. So yeah, next episode... stop it! Oh my, next episode I am going to work on the rear link, because I don't like how it kind of hangs like that. So I'll do something about that. And then I'll, sorry, I'm just staring at it. getting lost for words. I will hook up the differential locks again, and then kind of do more work on the body. But for now, I guess this is it. So, as usual, if you have any tips or tricks, any kind of shortcuts and stuff you like to do to make building easier, let me know. If you have something you want me to check out, let me know. I've been thinking, as I mentioned in the last episode, I've been thinking of doing something like community builds, but on this. Like the scrap community builds, but on this. And yeah, this is what I mean about... Oh, it's just... slipping for some reason. Interesting. I gotta figure that out. Either way, I've been thinking of doing some kind of community builds on this as well, if anyone's interested. And yeah, this is kind of a sloppy outro, so I'm just gonna end it. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.